good morning Epirus, good morning Ionian Islands, good morning Central Macedonia, good morning Western Greece, good morning everybody, good morning world. We are Zagori Fiction Days. We are in Vitsa, a beautiful village of Zagori, in the region of Epirus, in Greece, northern west or west. And it's the third, last day of Zagori Fiction Days, and it's a special event we are offering to you because it has a lot of strategic aspects for the development of what we are doing. That means audiovisual products, contents. That means series, telefiction, movies, but we name it audiovisual contents, and not just only movie or TV. We don't make the difference. So the very first question and the very, the very first thought we had when we organized this roundtable was we are in a European region like Epirus or Ionian Islands or Western Greece or Central Macedonia. We are a great European region. Our creative industries, that means audiovisual industries, also a tool to the development of one region. Do the institutions, politicians, power, place, governments consider seriously this kind of tool or not? It's not a matter of judging that, it's a matter of be conscious of the importance of this tool. So, the rule of the game and of the participation is, well, I'm just asking something. There's no thought behind that. There's just the question of, are really this a tool for development, economic development of the regions? So, I'm waiting frank replies, frank answers, sincere answers, not, I don't know the xylini glossa in English, not the
strict language.
Yes, but really a sincere, realistic, and pragmatic, and by experience, answers. So, I have to present you before, okay? Just so, from my left, Panagiotta Jane, Miss Panagiotta Jane is the
Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
Of European Programs, Development and Digital Governance in Central Corfu, the Municipality of Central Corfu and the Islands.
Angela.
Do I introduce myself?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Angela Crocchilli. I work for the Regional Governor's Office, the region of Ionian Islands, and I'm responsible for the Ionian Film Office.
Yeah. Pece.
I'm Pece Talevski, producer from North Macedonia and owner of the first streaming platform in Macedonia.
From Oxo Production.
Yes.
Good.
I'm Dimitra Rogoti. I work for the region of Epirus and I'm responsible for the Epirus Film Office.
Yeah.
Εγώ μιλήσω ελληνικά. Εγώ είμαι ο αντιπεριφερειάρχης πολιτισμού της περιφέρειας Epirus. Λέγομαι Οδυσσέας Κότσης και είναι χαρά μου που είμαι εδώ.
Οδυσσέας Κότσης, Vice President, Deputy of the region of Epirus, specialized on cultural questions. Again.
I'm Georges Corraface, of Greek origin, actor, French of Greek origin, and in generally, mixed up identity.
Good. Very good. Georges Corraface or Giorgos Corrafas?
It took us 3 hours yesterday to realize
How mixed up the guy is.
Okay, so I'm the head of the the new head of the Hellenic Film Commission of the Greek Film Center, and my name is Maria Koufopoulou.
I'm Boban Jevtic. I'm head of developing and strategy department in the Firefly Production, Serbia.
I'm Antonios Zafiropoulos. I'm the executive officer of the film office in Central Macedonia.
Ioannis Sakiotis, screenwriter, based in Athens, working in Greek and foreign co-productions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, Sakiotis Ioannis. I'm here representing the representation of the European Commission in Greece. It was not possible for our head to be here today, so I came to this very nice and positive.
And you represent the European Commission in Athens?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I see that. Okay, so, and we have online, by Zoom meeting, at least Mr. Fokion Zaimis. Fokion Zaimis, can you present yourself, please?
Ναι, καλημέρα. Με ακούτε καταρχήν?
Ναι, in English, please.
Okay, can you hear me? I'm Fokion Zaimis, Vice Governor of Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Research in the region of Western Greece. I'm based in the city of Patras, and we're running a series of initiatives about the creative industries, and I will be happy to tell you shortly some of those initiatives and our vision. And I have to tell you I don't have much time because I have to catch a flight. So if you continue the discussion, I would like to, as you think, have a quick some remarks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So stay with us, Mr. Zaimis. Stay with us. A minimum. Okay, thank you. So after this short, long presentation, the very first question, I'm just there to ask questions, and if we have just 1 hour and a half minimum, maybe 10 minutes after, but we have to be short, efficient, and clear.
Why are you looking
answers.
at me?
You and me also, I don't know why.
Yes, you and me.
What do you mean by that?
Because I'm beginning by yours. And so the very first question is really,
Okay.
I'm addressing to all the participants. Do you consider that today in Greece, in Serbia and North Macedonia, the audiovisual industries, which is a part of creative industries, are really should be a tool for economic development of one region, and why? That's the very first question. Who is going to be the first to answer about that? Είναι πράγματι ότι οι ακουστικές βιομηχανίες, κομμάτι των δημιουργικών βιομηχανιών, ένα εργαλείο για οικονομική ανάπτυξη μιας ευρωπαϊκής περιοχής ή μιας περιοχής. Βάζουμε μέσα και τη Σερβία.
May I say something?
Yes, please. Mr. Fokion Zaimis.
Thanks a lot. First of all, I have to congratulate you for this very warm and interesting event. I always wanted to go to Epekeina Chora, but until now I didn't have this opportunity. Maybe I know you organize some seminars also in August, so maybe I will try to do that the next time. And to greet my friend Nikos Yanis, who's actually one of the persons who started this, and you have to pass him our greetings to him, please. I have to say that the creative industries is a new terminology, I mean, the last few years, but it actually refers to a combination of old and new sectors of the economy. I will start with the old sectors of the economy, like artists and any kind of people who create something with their hands or their mind and their brains. So, but today you have new aspects of that, like design or software development. Audiovisual industry is definitely one of the sectors of the creative industry, but it's not the only one. It is one of many. So I think it's a big umbrella, creative industries, and especially today with the technological achievements and the innovation that is happening every day, it is more easy for people, individual people, and groups of people to become members of this sector. You can make a film used to with, and of course today you can make a film with hundreds or thousands of people, but you can also make a film and have some possibilities to get awarded with 3 people. It does not mean that it's not good to have a huge film, of course, a huge production, and it's a different category. But in this aspect, of course, you can create something by yourself or with your friends, or in a small group of artists and technicians that would actually go worldwide and be distributed in many festivals. In the region of Western Greece, we have we've organized a film office, as probably most of the regions have already, because it's undoubtable that the
κόλλησε το meeting. So, waiting the rest of
and the incentives that all European countries give are financial primarily, but I don't want to stop only on the financial incentives and what they help the local economies. I want to go forward to tell that in this way we bring together different cultures of people, and you create funds that help stability, help peace, of course, and help also to go forward in a more global environment. Respecting, of course, each person's individual rights or religion, think about political opinions, of course. I think it's a wonderful opportunity today in the Balkans, in the Southeast Mediterranean, Europe, to the local government, like regions, like municipalities, any chambers of commerce, to work closer in order to promote even further this kind of synergies. As a region, personally, I do so, and we have taken many initiatives also in Europe. We're actually together with 2 more regions, one in Italy, one in Spain. We are leaders in an initiative in the Joint Research Center in Europe about innovation and creative industries. And we're in the process now to try to spread this idea and try to create some kind of programs. I will be closing now, I don't want to speak too much. I will say that when the President of Europe, Ms. von der Leyen, announced the initiative New Bauhaus, we were very happy. It's like we were thinking the same thing, and we haven't talked to her, of course, not even with her cabinet, but we were thinking the same thing. So one of the initiatives, New Bauhaus, I think is exactly what fits in the agenda of the program today. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Maria Koufopoulou.
Hello, I would like to ask you something, Mr. Zaimis. If in your plans is included something that has to do specifically, because no doubt the new Bauhaus movement and all this you have been mentioning is a part of cultural and creative industry or initiatives. But I'm going back to my question, which is if in your future plans there is something that is more focused on audiovisual, let's say it industry in quotes.
You mean financially?
Yeah.
Of course, this is the first step. I mean, after the willing. I guess you have the willing.
No, but first we have to convince the leadership of the region, of the municipality, of the ministry, that this is important. This has been going on for many years, and I think the leaders of any kind of body are convinced that this is very, very good. I know that it's for local authority, it's very important to build a road. Everybody wants to have a road and or a bridge or something, infrastructure, but you have to, on the same time, allocate some money on this kind of programs. People who try to do this kind of productions, they can use already existing programs. For example, if you want to set up a studio or infrastructure for this kind of things, you can go to the development law and take some subsidy. Or you can go to the laws of ESPA, the European projects that we already have launched for creative industries. We had for new business and creative industries 2 years ago. We had an open call, and there are some people who actually put in their business plan this. It's not exclusive. It's part of the business incentives we give to other kinds of sectors as well. Exclusively only for that, we haven't had a program yet. We had a very interesting program for social economy, with a quite big amount considering the other regions, almost 3 million euros for social economy. And there are some local social groups, 18 SEP as we call them, that they have this as a priority. But it's part of a wider call. It's not only for audiovisual industry, not yet at least. If we think that there are so many applications, if we realize that there are so many applications and so many interested groups, maybe we can put a separate program, a separate call, only for that. That it has to be seen. It's possible.
Very good answer. Maybe we could have a separate.
No, this is not. This is a common answer. It's not a good answer. Yeah. Okay. Because you have so many film festivals, and financially speaking, there is this what we call film-induced tourism, and this is so much linked. Of course, you know that this is not something new. To the empowerment of the local community, financially speaking, always. So it would be just good for the, for the people who really, the governors, the local governors, to have it in mind with their advisors. Just remind it to them.
It's a chicken and egg theory. We have to increase also the people who are in this business. If you put on a call and there's only 5 applications, it's not successful.
Of course.
You have to have demand. It's a demand and supply thing. I mean, we support the festival in Pyrgos of young films. It's a very important festival. Young.
Olympia.
Olympia, yeah.
Olympia. Yes, I mean Pyrgos because most of them happen there. In ancient Olympia, yes. We support the festival of Greek German films here in Patras. Also in Aegio there are some kind of film initiatives with the wine production in the summer, the collection of wine. And we also have an idea that we have grown to do a separate legal entity. This is something we're working on. We are very close to do that. To do a legal entity separately under the region, but not also for one municipality. We have 19 municipalities, and we want a legal organization that will work exclusively on creative industries. Today, the personnel in the municipalities or in the regions don't know how to do that, and they're not so much interested. Probably, if we do this legal entity, some of the people who work there maybe also work, but also with external experts, but of full-time external experts, not for 1 month, permanent contracts for long-term contracts. I think we could achieve more goals. This is something that we've been thinking, something like more regional Vitsa is for a city only. We want something more bigger for the whole region, because you need people behind these initiatives. You cannot do anything if you don't have people, and we do not have the people to work this daily. You don't just do a conference like Epekeina Chora and everything is fixed. On Monday, somebody has to do the follow-up. Who is going to do the follow-up? About going to the ministry, going to Brussels, try to put on the code. It's things that you need people full-time working on this. So I think a legal entity with people expertise would be a solution.
Just to complete something, Mr. Jaimis was very, very clear, the answer. Should be the film offices this kind of relay, like it's the exact case in France where I'm living, or in Germany, or in England, outside Europe. Because there, the film offices, they play a role, they invested with a special mission, with a budget which fits, and decided by the national government and local governments who have to respect that. That's the frame, the medium European frame concerning the force that film offices could have and should have.
Okay, if you talk only about audiovisual, film office is very important, but it's only about audiovisual and it's only about helping on the licensing. When you shoot a film, somebody has to help you with the license, with the police, with the...
It's a part of the job. It's the job, not the job, a part of the job.
Yeah, okay, and try to help you with finding technical crew or actors, I understand, to help you in any way, or possibly to help you with the financial. Creative industries is not only audiovisual. You have to do something wider. There's more people involved in that. It's not only the film office. Film office is part of the equation, I think. I think the discussion should be larger, much larger than the film office.
Yes, but creative industries need money. And money, it's the basis of everything. Having millions of festivals doesn't solve the problem. It just recycles public European money. We're speaking about business industry. And business industry have to have gains or not, and mixed of private and public sector. Sorry if it's a realistic language, but it's the language of the reality now, especially in Greece. So let's have someone.
What I wanted to say, I'm sorry to interrupt, is because I heard Mr.
Zaimis.
Yes. He referred also to the Pece, the peripheral theatres, and because I'm also the president of the peripheral theatre in Corfu, I think that peripheral theatres maybe don't have enough money, but they do get money, also from the municipalities, also from the regionals, and also from the Ministry of Culture. So I think that the question that Mrs. Papadopoulou is here.
Koufopoulou.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Is really what we do about audiovisuals and not for theatre. So I think that there was a good start happening with Ecome at first.
The cash rebate fund.
Yes, I don't know why it doesn't really working that much widely, but there are some regions that have film offices, as the Ionian Island Film Office through Interreg programs, and I think that they should gain some serious sponsors through government, so that they can really work and have people that can show possibly locators.
Yes, fixers.
Location
managers.
Permanent people for location managers, yes. People that can really work the whole time and not just for a movie that may appear in our region. Living in Corfu, we have many suggestions for films. And I think that we didn't really took advantage enough for the prize that we got from Darrell's, the series. We should gain some more, but we saw the development that came up during these 2 or 3 years that the series was there filming. I think that if nothing happened through the government, even if the municipalities have the willing, nothing really will happen.
Thank you for the very clear answer, completing. And Dimitra Rogoti of Epirus Film Office.
I will speak in English as we are obliged. I would like to be, I'm a little bit more curious about today. Thank you, Mr. Zemis, to bring us in your experience in the creative industries in your region. Here in the region of Epirus, we are a little bit more focused on the audiovisual sector activities. Of course, there are many projects, EU projects on the creative industries, but on the audiovisual sector, we had a specified project which we were partners with the region of West Greece and the Ionian Islands, which started in 2016 for us to try to find which exact action should we plan in order to enforce the audiovisual sector in our region. So we take part in this project, which had to create a structure, the basic structure, in order to provide services on the sector, on the audiovisual sector, with databases of location, of producers, and etc. And of course, in parallel, we, as pilot action, we create a film festival. We intend to do it again, but it needs money. But we focus first, we make step-by-step our plans in order to develop the audiovisual sector in Epirus. So the region is aware that with the development of this product, industry product of culture and with the involvement of many other professionals of this sector, would have a very good influence in the film-induced tourism in our region. Because we have to take into consideration that the region of Epirus, even if she is a beautiful and a region with a character, a multi-character, alpine and Mediterranean, etc. It is not well known in the large visitors. Audience, yes. So we are obliged to work in many sectors in order to attract production to be realized here, because Angela, which is responsible for the Ionian Film Office, having a similar services and structure in the Ionian Film Office, is now can count some production that have been realized, a lot of them, a broad production, not Greek production, in Corfu, in other islands. So we are obliged, even we have the basic proper services and the people who work for that in the region of Epirus, we have to be enforced by specialized and focused funds from the central administration for this sector. Of course, we plan and we have many actions from our part by creating some sub-product, some films made here, but and we plan, of course, to have a more strategic planning about the development of our action on this field in order to have all those possibility can offer the audiovisual sector in our region. Of course, for instance, I would like to signalize, of course, that there is another one project focused on the thematic tourism through filming in the Interreg Adrian.
Yeah.
It is called thematic and had many action with Ecome, Enterprise Greece, and etc. in order to create some part of some deliverable to enforce especially the regional unit of Thesprotia as a filming destination of the region of Epirus. So that for the moment, and maybe later I could add.
Let's remind the name of the program mentioned by Dimitra Rogoti. It was Chaka. It's finished officially. It's expired. It expired officially.
Interreg Europe. He's the whole title.
I think so. Maybe it will be a Czech 2 or other. It changed. It isn't for the first reason that it was conceived. It was realized. So it changes. And the problem is, Mr. Zaimis and all the participants, is that European programs, national or international or intra-European, are very specific, and they have a period very precise. When they finish, all the local governments, they are wondering, don't we have any other European programs to do that? Don't we have other ESPA? ESPA is a Greek Dutch thing, the ESPA. The other countries don't have like that. They have leaders. They think in terms of regions. They don't think in terms of countries. I mean, you have very destination for the countries, European funds, and other ones. So the question is?
Yes, I would like to signalize that the programming period is finished. Those projects, Chaka is finished 1.5 years ago, and thematic will finish in the end of the year.
Yes.
But of course, in the new programming period, with our team that works on EU programs, we have many plans, and we are awarded in order to find cooperation and create a new project to enforce this project left us as structure and some other equipment.
Yes. Let's have now...
And of course experience, I'm sorry.
Yes, of course. So, Ioannis Sakiotis.
If I may just to add here the European angle, because we discussed already. So, of course, there are several, let's say, financial opportunities through European programs, Interreg or else. Just to come back to a little about this ESPA, it's about the structural funds, how we specialized here in Greece, but all the countries have similar systems of specializing the structural funds. Well, the main instrument, as you already know, is the program Media, of course, which is has been refreshed last year. So for this, for the current programming period, which is from 2021 to 2024/7, there is a huge amount, 2.5 billion euros, compared to the previous period, which was it is much bigger, much larger, and it focuses a lot to the co-productions and to the transnational dimension. Possibly you are already aware because you are professionals and you know how this system is working. But just let me here to add a couple of, let's say, thoughts about how useful these tools could be, because always in Brussels we try to advise people, from the regions, from how to come closer to understand how the financial landscape is working and what are the real opportunities. So for media now we have an important procedural change. So it used to be under the Director General for Culture and Education. Now it is within Connect, which is more specialized, and they have also produced a kind of pipeline for all the financial procedure from the beginning, the calls from how the entities can apply. So it is much more friendly to understand how it works. And there we have also some very important parameters for this new period, and it is important for everyone involved in filming industry, but not only filming industry, because we are also talking about video on demand, and we are also talking about documentaries,
audiovisual.
So it is the greening dimension, the green dimension. So what that does it mean? We want to get an audiovisual sector in the EU which is climate neutral. So that means a huge production, meaning that you have to move 3,000 persons from far. It's not. This is not the case, huh?
Yeah.
Not because we don't like this kind of stuff, but when you have the CO2 emissions impact, I mean, it is the carbon footprint that we call it. This is not something we really want. It is about making a more sustainable audiovisual. I think it is feasible, and there is a lot of consulting about this. And of course, the second very important parameter is diversity and inclusiveness, which is not the case. I mean, it's not something happens automatically. We have to keep this in mind, together with the transnational cooperation, and especially with the non-EU countries, for which there is a lot of special financing. And I think we have already seen a lot of production so far, this kind of mixed production, and it is important that in the future we will be able to see more. Just let me talk a little bit more further about the media program, which is has a significant contribution to the film industry in audiovisual industry in Europe, because last year we celebrated 30 years of media program, and that meant 500 films. I mean, important. It's an important production. Millions of visitors in festivals, and all these figures you can find very easily.
Excuse me, do you mean 500 films in Greece?
No, it's European wide. 400. But let me put the semicolon here and just say a bit of personal insider. I think that France has really done a revolution during the last 30 years. We have seen amazing productions, and we have seen fantastic use of the sources from the European Union, and possibly for the Greek system of the wider system of stakeholders, it is very important to drain some of this experience, and possibly Mr. Corraface he's going to much more aware, and I'm not an expert there, but I think it is emblematic what in European scale what France has done. And just a last point here, that we have just to get an idea about what to say here today. We contacted a lot of colleagues in Brussels, in Connect. These people are very dedicated and very proactive, and for anybody who would like to get more information, they are very responsive. So please knock the door. I can share with Panagiotta some links, some contact points.
Yeah, of course.
Because sometimes there is the feeling that Brussels is difficult to approach. It's not. It's different.
Maybe
it's not.
we could be, as we are in a short circle, we could decide to create something more focused in our activities in order to take even experience, because we in the most easier way to communicate with other region is through indirect programs. So through media, maybe we have to follow another bigger partner, or to make a special meeting, a special meeting there with people in some step in front of us, in order to exchange experience and create something new.
Yes,
we could today, for instance, discuss about it and fix
the frame.
The frame.
The next step.
Just to let you know that the strand of media during this period is the support, the financial support of structural networks and partnerships. So this is something, in my view, very important. The homework you have to do just to prepare something which is wow. I mean, it is not coming like that because of good ideas.
Of course, we have team, but we are more experienced in other type of projects.
Excuse me,
and
sorry for interrupting, Mrs. Okay, I'd like to know some more about this media program. Okay, first of all, is Ecome part of this program?
The cash debate.
Does Ecome draw funds from this program or not?
I'm not very
okay.
very knowledgeable about all this.
Okay, so
I'm
my
not
next
sure.
question would be, can the regions and municipalities be part of this program so they can draw some funding?
It is always about establishing a partnership, which is not only from our country. This is the case, and then you have to meet special criteria, but you have to explore, and you have to see always the open
calls. We
calls.
had a great consortium. That means that maybe we can be part.
Yeah, but this is something sectorial, and it's not.
Can we have just to present another participant, Konstantinos Kapodistrias, great Greek name, okay, for foreign Greek also, who is, κύριε Καποδίστρια.
Ναι, σας ακούω.
Μας ακούτε? Καλημέρα σας, τι κάνετε?
Καλά, σε ποιους μιλάω γιατί μπήκα πριν από λίγο και δεν έχω καταλάβει.
Λοιπόν.
In Greek or in English?
In English.
Not so good.
In English. Παναγιώτα Τζάνε, τη γνωρίζετε.
Καλημέρα Κώστα.
Κυρία Άντζελα Προκίδη, τη γνωρίζετε.
Okay, Angela is there. I don't need to say many things because I didn't practice my English for today.
Okay, so the question is, κύριε Καποδίστρια.
Because Angela is the soul and the heart of the film office of the Ionian.
We understood that. Copy that.
We couldn't be anything. That's just good for us.
Yeah. Okay. So the question is, κύριε Καποδίστρια, στα ελληνικά, και θα το μεταφράσω στα αγγλικά, τι κάνει η περιφέρεια Ιωνίων νήσων και εσείς που γνωρίζετε τα ευρωπαϊκά προγράμματα, σημαντικό πόστο ως αντιπεριφερειάρχης ο οποίος έχει και τα ευρωπαϊκά προγράμματα, εντάξει, και τα χειρίζεται, τι ακριβώς, ποιες προσπάθειες γίνονται και σχεδιάζεται να γίνουν για να μπορέσει η οπτικοακουστική βιομηχανία, κομμάτι των δημιουργικών βιομηχανιών, να μπορέσει να αναπτυχθεί περισσότερο και να θεωρηθεί νευραλγικός τομέας ανάπτυξης, ο ίδιος όπως και ο τομέας της οδοποιίας. Γιατί μιλάμε γι' αυτό.
Ίσως περισσότερο.
Δηλαδή, να θεωρήσουμε υποδομή την οπτικοακουστική δυνατότητά μας.
Αυτό σημαίνει περισσότερα χρήματα, αντί να τα δώσουμε εδώ, τα βάζουμε εκεί. Αυτό η κυβέρνηση, μετά από εσάς θα μας μιλήσει και ο κ. Σπότσης.
Δεν θα σταθώ στα χρήματα. Θα σταθώ στην εμπειρία που έχω αυτά τα 2,5 χρόνια, στις διαδικασίες.
Okay. So, Or we continue in English, or θα συνεχίσουμε στα ελληνικά και μετά στα αγγλικά. Okay, πείτε το στα ελληνικά και θα κάνω...
Ναι, θα το προτιμούσα γιατί...
Εντάξει, Έλληνα. Πάμε.
Λοιπόν, θα επιμείνω στις διαδικασίες για ποιο λόγο. Γιατί διάθεση υπάρχει πολλές φορές, το πνεύμα είναι πρόθυμο και η σάρκα καθυστερεί. Τι θέλω να πω με αυτό. Ότι ξεκινήσαμε στην περιφέρεια με προηγούμενα προγράμματα, το κομμάτι του Film Office, το γραφείο ειδικά του Film Office, το τσάκ, το ΣΙΑΚ που άκουσα πριν, είχε την προβολή, είχε το σχεδιασμό, αλλά δεν είχε το hardware. Η περιφέρεια Ιλίων Ίσων, λοιπόν, επειδή θέλω να απαντήσω στο ερώτημά σας, με δικά της έσοδα έβαλε το ποσό για να γίνει το γραφείο στο κέντρο της Κέρκυρας. Δεν το έβαλε μέσα από το πρόγραμμα. Γιατί ήταν λοιπές το πρόγραμμα. Συνεπώς θα πρέπει στο επόμενο πρόγραμμα να είμαστε πιο προσεκτικοί και πιο ουσιαστικοί.
Πολύ ενδιαφέρον. 2 λεπτά να το μεταφράσω. So,
yes, okay.
The region of the Ionian Islands, who are the vice president of region, the deputy governor, is in charge of European portfolio programs. He's saying that yes, we created the Film Office of Ionian Islands first in the beginning by the money, by the funding of the Czech European program, which was an Italian, a great thing, a great, good program. But now, with this experience, having that, we have to reshape that, to rethink that, and see how strategically this program was to be viable, sustainable in long term. Είναι πολύ καλή αυτή η απάντηση, δηλαδή τώρα βλέπουμε συγκεκριμένα τι, που, πώς και γιατί και το μέλλον. Και το μέλλον πώς διαγράφεται, το μέλλον πώς το βλέπετε, τι βλέπετε.
Something more. For example, in Corfu we have the center of the Film Office. In Zakynthos, the northern part of the Ionian Islands, via Interreg Greece, Italy, we are making a studio, an audio studio, the Corraface studio.
Okay. Sound studio, okay. The sound studio.
Yeah, with it started to be being built 8 months ago. It's in a music school, and we have all the music instruments and all the consoles and the electronic equipment to be ready at 2023.
Which project? Through which project?
Through which European funding projects? It's
from Interreg Greece, Italy.
Italy, Greece, Italy.
Creative.
Yeah.
And the municipality will have the same.
And is the peripheria, the region of Ionian Islands, like the other regions, it's the same problem, strategically thinks that they can make own now priority the audiovisual sector, like another sector. I mean, by their own money, by their own money. I mean, national money, not European money. The problem is that we can...
By the own money, I think it's difficult, because the regions give other priorities. I think a percent of own money and from other funds, Interreg or ESPA, will be more easier.
Easy?
Do something.
Easy means...
The main thing is we have, I think the regions have 3 years experience now, and they could plan better anything they want for filming, for opticoacoustica audiovisual things, for the next period very better than these 3 years, the last 3 years.
Nice. So that...
Είτε από ESPA, είτε από Interreg.
Okay.
For example, we have started communication with the Ionian University, who has a department of optical
audiovisual studies,
things, talking about what are we going to do for the future. I think a visual studio in Corfu is a good idea. I hope we will be ready to do something like that.
Good. So, Mr. Pochis would like to intervene. Κύριε Pochis, σας ακούμε.
Λοιπόν, χαίρομαι καταρχήν που είμαι εδώ και μας φιλοξενεί η Γιώτα και ο Νίκος ο Γιάννης, αλλά εδώ θα πούμε αλήθειες. Και χαίρομαι ιδιαίτερα που με ακούει και ο συνάδελφός μου από την Κέρκυρα, ο αντιπεριφερειάρχης. Ζάκη. είναι νομίζω και partners εδώ από άλλες χώρες.
Σερβία,
Σερβία.
Βόρεια Μακεδονία.
Οπότε είναι
Και Γαλλία.
μεγάλη ευκαιρία, κυρίως για τους μικρούς εταίρους, να ακούσουν αυτά τα πράγματα για να έχουν την εμπειρία του τι μέλη γενέστε, μια και είναι νεόκοποι στην Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση.
Δεν είναι, περιμένουν να μπουν.
Ακόμα.
So
Κύριε
just-
Καποδίστρια, γνωρίζετε καλά ότι τα περισσότερα προγράμματα είτε του Ίντερεγκ είτε του ΕΣΠΑ εξατμίζονται στα εξών συνετέθη μόλις σταματάει η χρηματοδότησή τους σε πεπερασμένο χρόνο.
Να το μεταφράσω, διότι είναι πολύ πυκνό. Just a moment to translate it. So, Mr. Potis represent the region of Epirus, says by experience, the realistic language of someone like him, that new members to go to Europe or other federations have to know the real truth. And the real truth, like as he is telling that, is that all these European programs, Leader, Interreg, Chaka, now things, by the moment they are launched, they are already lost by the money point of view. I mean, they are really absorbed, they disappearing, they evaporating. So,
Λοιπόν, έχω 20 ετή εμπειρία στην αυτοδιοίκηση, 20 χρόνια.
20 years of experience speaking.
Οπότε γνωρίζω κατά τι το ότι η συμμετοχή μου ως επικεφαλής σε προγράμματα άειλα, γι' αυτό επιμένω σε αυτό που είπατε, ότι καλή είναι οι δρόμοι, τα τσιμέντα, έχουν μια πάγια υπόσταση, αλλά ό,τι είναι σε άειλο και μια και αναφερόμαστε στον πολιτισμό και στην τέχνη αυτή τη στιγμή, όταν κλείνει το ίντερνετ εξατμίζονται όλα.
That's very important. So, Mr. Pot says a real truth and a real opinion in
Για
Greece.
άειλες δράσεις για να ακούσω στους αδελφούς μου.
That the concrete actions, the real autostrada, is something we can see, you can use. The no real, the virtual, the audiovisual autostrada.
Immaterial.
And the culture, it's very important.
Sorry, but this is only his opinion, okay?
Yes, but I'm saying that. So that the highly economia, and it's very important. Mr. Potis, who handles the portfolio of culture, considers that by his reality management that the culture is highly economia.
Immaterial.
Immaterial. No, it's very important to say that his opinion, and Epirus has this opinion. I mean, the institutional members of the region. That's important to know.
Το τελευταίο παράδειγμα και εμπειρία που έχω, μετήχα σε ένα πρόγραμμα Verso ως μοναδική περιφέρεια της Ελλάδος με όλες τις χώρες της Ευρώπης. Κράτησε 4 χρόνια, επισκεφθήκαμε, αναφερόταν στις καλές πρακτικές. Εντός εισαγωγικών, να το θέσω ως εθελοντισμό. Καλές πρακτικές. Πώς μπορεί να αξιοποιηθεί ο εθελοντισμός και να παράγει καλές πρακτικές. Σε νοσηλευτικές μονάδες παντού, σε μονάδες της πρόνοιας. Όταν τελείωσε μέσω του ίντερνετ η χρηματοδότηση, όταν τελείωσε και επισκεφθήκαμε σε έναν κύκλο όλες τις χώρες και εμβολιαστήκαμε εμείς από τις πρακτικές της άλλης χώρας, έκλεισε το πρόγραμμα και αποτέλεσμα 0. Γιατί έκανα αυτή την εισαγωγή.
I have to resume. So, Mr. Potis mentions a very concrete example, which is of the Verso program, with European program, aiming at rendering better the good practices in the volunteers spirit. So after they visited a lot of countries where they were eager or they were learning good practices, best practices of this, after that, comme on dit en grec, έξαν τις βρύσες, so they stopped the pipeline and they didn't have any money. My question is, περιμένει η Ελλάδα μόνο αυτά, είμαστε στην οτροπία, το λέω και ως Δελιγιάννης στους Agora Fiction Days, περιμένει να ανοίξει στρόφικα και να κλείσει στρόφικα και να μην προβλέψει τι γίνεται μετά. Είναι δυνατόν μια περιφέρεια να λέει τα περιμένω όλα από εκεί και έτσι κλείσει στρόφικα, δεν έχει προβλέψει τι θα γίνει αμέσως μετά το Verso πρόγραμμα. Είναι αδιανόητο. Το λέω ως Γάλλος, το λέω και ως Έλληνας, το λέω και ως Ευρωπαίος.
Θα σας δώσω τώρα την απάντηση.
Υπάρχει κεφαλαιοποίηση. Αυτό είναι
ενδιαφέρον να μας...
Ακριβώς, το είπε ο συνάδελφος. Κεφαλαιοποίηση για να δημιουργήσουμε υπεραξίες από αυτά τα πράγματα.
Okay, there's no capitalization to create the add value.
Και ερχόμαστε στο σημείο, στο πικ τώρα της κουβέντας.
Yeah.
Εδώ παριστάμεθα αντάμα αυτοδιοικητικοί πολιτικοί παράγοντες, θεσμικών φορέων του Υπουργείου Πολιτισμού, που είναι ο καθήλυνα αρμόδιος φορέας του κράτους για να δημιουργήσει πολιτικές, και άνθρωποι της τέχνης. Καλό
και
είναι,
της βιομηχανίας.
Της βιομηχανίας. Καλό είναι σαν μαγιά να δημιουργηθεί κάτι. Αν όμως δεν κεντρικήσουμε, είχα μια 5λεπτη συνομιλία με την κυρία Κoufopoulou πριν μπούμε εδώ μέσα και την κάλεσα αύριο να έρθει στην περιφέρεια, ούτως ώστε εκεί να δούμε, μπορεί να δημιουργήσουμε αυτό που είπατε κύριε Τελγέννη. Πολιτική. Μετά θα έρθει πάνω στην πολιτική και στην οικονομία, γιατί τέχνη χωρίς οικονομία είναι ευχές.
Είναι χορηγία.
Κανένας δεν θα ήξερε τον πίνακα του Γκογκέν αν δεν υπήρχε ο άνθρωπος να τον αναδείξει. Είτε στην καλερί του ή να τον εντοπίσει. Κανένας δεν θα τον ήξερε. Ίσως να ήταν κρεμασμένος κάπου στην αφάνεια. Άρα χωρίς πολιτική χρηματοδότηση είναι ευχές τα υπόλοιπα. Κάλεσα την κυρία Κoufopoulou, αν θα μπορούσε να παρασταθεί και θα του απευθύνω επίσημη πρόσκληση, και ο κύριος Corraface για την εμπειρία του, γιατί το know-how δεν μπορεί να το έχουν οι περιφέρειες. Το know-how θα το δημιουργήσει ένα γραφείο όσο χρηματοδοτηθεί και οφείλω να, εγώ απολογούμε εδώ ως υπεύθυνος και της δικής μου περιφέρειας. Ποιο είναι το απτό αποτέλεσμα διετού σου παρουσίαση τα Film Office? Μιλούσα προεβδομάδος, το είπα στην κυρία Koufopoulou με την κυρία Πατουλίδου που είναι η ομόλογός μου στην περιφέρεια Μακεδονίας. Μικρές παραγωγές οι οποίες επέρονται, γιατί ήρθε ο Μπαντέρας και γυρίστηκε μια ταινία η οποία δεν ήταν η δημιουργός, ήταν η υποστήριξη που παρήχε εκεί μόνο. Η υποστήριξη παρήχε. Λοιπόν, αν δεν δημιουργηθεί για να κοντολογείς και να βάλουμε ένα τρένο πάνω σε ράγες, γιατί δεν μπορεί στον τόπο του πολιτισμού. Ποιος ξέρει ότι στην Ήπειρο έχουμε 5 αρχαία θέατρα? Αν δεν έρθει τέχνη να το αναδείξει, δεν θα το μάθει κανένας παρεκτός ημών των ιδίων. Αν δεν δημιουργηθεί πολιτική κεντρική, συνεργαζόμενη με όλα τα γραφεία και όχι κάνοντας μετερίζια ο καθής στον τόπο του. Η Μακεδονία, η Ήπειρος, τα Ιόνια νησιά. Άκουσα την κυρία πριν να μιλάει για το διπεθέ από το Δήμο Κερκύρας. Είναι πολύ απλωμένο το θέμα. Πρέπει να το εστιάσουμε, αν θέλουμε να υποστηρίξουμε τη βιομηχανία αυτή, να αναδείξει την τέχνη και από εκεί θα έρθουν οι υπεραξίες που ορθά είπε ο συνάδελφος. Εγώ επειδή θα φύγω, σας καλώ και τους δύο αύριο. Δεν ξεχωρίζω κανέναν.
Μια μετάφραση κύριε Βότση. Καλές οι δηλώσεις, πολύ καλές θα τις ακούσουν οι εκατοντάδες που μας ακούνε. Σημαντικές.
Περισσότερο ξέρετε γιατί τα λέω. Θέλω να δικαιολογήσω τον εαυτό μου όταν θα φύγω αυτά τα πράγματα.
Ναι, μα γι' αυτό ακριβώς.
Αφέθηκε κάτι πίσω.
Λοιπόν, so I have to resume because it's very important. Because now we have declarations, not of an unknown guy, people like that, is Mr. Potsis. He is in charge of the culture portfolio. He considers realistic, in a realistic language, that culture is not like constructing an autostrada. Okay, it's one of the opinions. Not all the regions share this opinion. Not all the countries share this opinion. We respect that, but we have to say that the regions in every European country have a great responsibility of drawing the outline of the politics. They don't wait from the central government to say that. The central government is waiting, expecting proposals, very well done, very well dressed, very well targeted. So, it's a very good will to say that we are waiting, but it's a real declaration of volonté, πολιτική θέληση, to say that, the guys, I have about 3 or 4 σύλλογοι who counts, and not the whole university of all the σύλλογοι of Ioannis like that, to have, and consultancy special by the Greek institution, by the GFC and other ones, and ECOME, and after that decide what will be the politics of your region. Because all the regions, they are not obliged to play the same game. In France and other countries, they have a competition between themselves. And when you have film offices of southern France, central France, they are in competition and they have very competent persons who really play the game, respecting the rules, with their money, autonomous. So,
well, they have allocated funds as well.
Yes.
Each one of the regions.
Each one of the regions. They have 5 great regions. You know exactly what
they
you are
have
doing.
a budget and they have to use it.
Yeah. That's the real truth of France experience.
Okay, can I?
Yep.
Okay, Kostas, are you listening?
Loud and clear.
Okay, I would like to just make things clear, okay, on this matter. Okay, the creation of the film offices, the regional film offices, as many as are operating now, they came from European funds, okay, and they opened their doors. Okay, as far as the region of Ionian Islands is concerned, we have an office, an actual office. This is what Mr. Kapodistri is saying. Okay, which means that the Interreg program did not have the idea to build an office for us, but we, with our own money, the region's money, we built an office for it. Okay, what
the budget of the region.
Okay, what do I want to show with this example is that we don't care what the European money created, as long as it is not a European project anymore, and now it is a fully operational service of our region. Okay, so we are going to use our region's money, the CAP funds, okay, the civilization and culture funds, to do the things that we have strategically thought and decided that we want to move forward with. Like the example of the sound engineering studio, okay, that Kostas is setting up in Zakynthos. I wish we can set up one in Corfu as well. And we have a few ideas that we can put in action with the region's money, okay? Until we have the huge funding coming from the Ministry of Culture, from I don't know where, okay, until it starts raining money, we have a few ideas that we want to implement with our own funds. Like, for example, we are thinking of, now we have a film coming, shooting in November, that is, it is a British production, of course, but these people are working with another entity, another company that is promoting sustainability on the filming set, which means
that's already in
that
the box
they
of
are cooperating
yeah.
with a green shot. I'm not sure I remember the name correctly, and so these people. We're going to hold an event for them so that they can inform the municipality, the students of the University of our audiovisual department, what it means to actually do green cinema. What they are going to do is actually reduce the carbon emissions on the set, reduce the plastic on the set, use water in a more sustainable way. Okay, they are advancing sustainability during the filming, not in theory, in practice. So we have a few things in mind. We want to support these people. We want to inform the public. We have some other projects together with the Ionian University. We are thinking of doing sort of like this event here, like a market where people of production can come to meet us so they can familiarize themselves with the locations and the crews that we have, because we have quite a few people who are in the audiovisual business.
And support the market,
location managers, casting directors, etc. So we need to build on what we have with our own sources for now and see how it goes and take it, advance it from there. And we are going to use the money that the region has for culture.
So it's another policy. So it's a different policy.
Because for me, the most important thing is to have the ideas and set them in action, put them in action.
And use region's money without
use whatever
waiting.
money you have. Okay, maybe you don't have a lot of money.
Can I say something, excuse me?
Yes.
Not only, it's okay,
Yes, of course.
Right. It's not only about money. It's about the people who are involved with these things. For example, the first, what said before, the capitalization of the knowledge must be, should be. The second with the people is, I'll give an example. Next year we have elections in the regions. Nobody is sure that someone will be in the film office to work it like Angela is working now. We don't have the staff that we know who is going to work for 5 or 10 years. Everything Angela Krokidi learned.
But even you, Mr. Kapodisas, even you are not certain to be there. Even you are not certain to be there.
No, I'm not talking about me.
So the region
I'm talking about
stays.
people who is working.
The politics, they are going. Okay.
All the regions don't have a continuity to plan for 5 or 10 years and capitalize the things and move. I believe all the film office of the region should have staff who is working there
permanent.
Yeah.
But it is a question of funds, of course.
Because not permanent, who has permanent staff. That's the main problem. And we don't have the power, the critical power. And the offices and all the things who have in the public, it's not easy for Angela and for me to do it. We want, for example, to make a budget from the region, and the region wants to give the budget for making a film in Kerkera, for example. It's so difficult to do it without staff. And
we don't have staff to run the procedures. That's what he's saying.
Angela, can you say something on that?
Yes, we lack staff. We lack the personnel to run the bureaucratic process.
Yeah. That's a real
So
problem.
we have the money, we have the idea, but somebody needs to sit on a desk and just do the writing, you know.
And are all the Greek
stamping.
regions?
And we don't have this.
A question, an important question for me, for Angela. Do you have the specialized your budget about your thoughts? You have,
we are planning our budget for 23
it's not
now.
Yet been...
No, it is not formal yet. It's not out there. These are ideas that we are discussing with...
Translating money.
There isn't any specialized budget at the
not
moment.
Not yet, but...
At the moment.
No, let me finish. The regional governor, Mrs. Rodikratsa, is very, very enthusiastic about this business. Okay, this whole idea of the promotion and the growth that will come through audiovisual works. Okay, so I think this is the point that makes the difference. Yeah. It is a point that makes a huge difference.
Good news.
And I'm very certain of that because I know it for sure. I mean, it's huge.
Good news.
That we are after this this idea.
Yeah. But again, for me, the question remains. 3 years ago, Ecome called the regions and some municipalities to take part in a meeting, telling that film offices will be eventually in every region and also in some municipalities, and that centrally we would have the opportunity to hire people to be location managers, to do all the bureaucracy stuff, to find hotels, tickets, whatever.
Excuse me.
It's not like
Sorry.
that.
Did the Ecome say
3
that?
years ago.
Yes, I know, but
you
it's not the way.
3 years ago.
I was
They
there.
have changed their plans since
I know,
then.
and I know that they do some. This is what they said.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
stay short about Ecome because it's an internal program. It's the cash rebate organization.
It's not represented in the conversation.
Yeah, well, so
because
what is
I
the
want
question?
to finish the question.
Yeah.
Where did all that money go? Because I know that Ecome had about 5 million to push to the regions so they can start up these procedures.
We can check it, you can check it, you can ask them. Cash rebate is for financing productions, it's not for financing normally.
That was another fund.
It's another funding.
Okay, yes, I mean, in the future, in the next month, Ecome, a lot of Greek national organizations in the field will be redefined. So, wait and see.
Because I know that what they do is
It's very important.
It's very important because the previous years, all the other productions went to some other countries because they weren't really.
I can help with this. Okay, where they stand now, just.
And after that, we see with Serbia and North Macedonia.
They have the money and they wait for all regions to set up their film offices and sign an agreement with them so they can give the money to the regions, but mostly for technical equipment and external professionals.
It's a pity we don't have a representative committee who are invited to be there and reply directly to this wondering, this question. So thanks for that. So now it's the turn of two no-Greek countries, Serbia and North Macedonia. They are not yet in European Union, okay? You know the terms, the conditions. I think it's a question of months, I hope, anyway, the beginning of the phase. So our question is, by listening to all this staff discussion, very specialized about Greek problems, the bureaucracy, the governor, the regions, different regions, that's a good point. You don't have always all people the same opinions. How do you see that from your own experience, Boban Jevtic from Belgrade?
Okay.
Are the creative industries a tool,
yes.
and for what reasons?
I must say first that during my career actually I was director of Film Center, and for example media program was under my jurisdiction, and then I was Serbian representative in Euroimage. So I have European experience and administrative experience. But on the other hand, I am now from industry, so I'm looking all that from different angle. So what I hear here. Serbia, it's not European country, first of all, so we are not, maybe it's much easier for us to deal with some things. But I think that the first we make, let's start with that. Is it audiovisual industry good for national economy? Yes, it is a lot.
And for regions?
From regions, so also I would explain a little bit, but I would be short, I would try. So we make research, for example, from Academy of Economy in Serbia, how much we gain from the tax rebate and from all this. And for every euro who state give, it's €5 that took returns in that. Because it's not only audiovisual industry that all these people who is the technician and that they get the job and their family live from that, but you have hotels, you have catering, you have driver, you have cars, you have technician, you have all kind of security, everything it's involved in that. So we start with very small amount, for example, when we first year, and now it's hundreds of millions of euro that we gained from audiovisual industry on both domestic and the
Can you remind the money, the 30%?
25% cash rebate, and then if they mentioned Serbia in the movie or they spend more than €5 million, they get 5 more. Percent, so 30%, and then we made, and this was really idea of the Film Commission in Serbia, to make this institution of film-friendly city. So we are a much smaller country than Greece, so we don't have so much region like you, but we have city, and city could give little bit more if they film it that. So they have their cash rebate or their special condition for the filming in the city. The best example
is the municipality.
Yes, and it's
on top.
On top of 30%. Additional cash rebate that they give, and not only cash rebate, but they have special condition. And Commission, Central Film Commission, go to this city, and they agree with them. They sign some papers, so it's a special condition to filming in this city. The best, I was mentioned this, the best example for this is city of Pančevo. It's very near to Belgrade, so it's very good because prices is much lower for everything. It's 20 minutes by car, so they give everything, and now we build studio there, other studio will be there, Firefly, other studio will be there. people really start to move to live in Pančevo because it's so near to Belgrade and it's cheaper and they are on the job directly. And it's not only studio, but it's a workshop for costume, for this kind that it would be for on industry. So what I think about it's not a problem, but your situation in that way, I think that it should be government, Ministry of Culture things to synchronize all this film commission in some way. And in Serbia case, I don't know how it's worked that, it was Film Center that it was. So I was sending, for example, media program, it's wonderful program. It's a part of Creative Europe and everything. It's wonderful, but it's complicated actually. It's not so easy to apply. So what we do, for example, we send the people who make the small courses to small city how they could apply, because it's not so easy. It's very bureaucratic. You are totally separate because it's online. If you make mistake of something, you must all over again. So it's very, it's.
A question: how many years does cash rebate in Serbia works?
Almost 10 now. Almost.
Imagine 10. That we are new in that. Greece is
Yes.
new in that.
It's okay.
Not the media program in Greece. It's quite old, quite ancient. It's not recent.
And we don't even have studios now. I think they're building outside Thessaloniki.
Yeah, the studios think it's a new thing. Also. Yeah, the ECOM think it's a very new thing, and the film office is very.
And there is another thing to signalize, that it's not the Ministry of Culture that is
in charge of that.
The cash rebate. It's another institution. It's another ministry, and so there are
like the
two heads on this field.
Okay. Look, let's leave him continue this very personal testimony.
It's very important that you
have it in mind.
That you have tax rebate. Why? Because if you get what is the most important in tax rebate scheme, that you have enough money to give immediately to the people who do, and they would, if first time when you make mistake and this money it's not on the time, they would leave, they would tell to everybody that it's not reliable, and they wouldn't come back. And this is the first thing. So you must have, and I would prefer the Minister of Culture to be direct to Ministry of Economy, for example, and I was like that first 2 years, because when I need more money, I said, I have American production, I have, I don't know, Star Wars coming to film there, I need more money for tax rebate this year. It's not only 10 million or 20 million, and they would give it.
Because they have a collaboration
with Film Center, and we explain how much money we would gain for that.
And we discussed with the Ministry of
Ministry of Culture, and before that it was directly with Ministry of Finance. Directly, I was going to his office, and I would
like in France, like in all European countries, directly.
It was better before because they understand the economical point of view and this. But only one thing, if I have time, about film commission. What it's very important is synchronization, because if I'm very big production, I need maybe a lot of very complex things. So you should be synchronized, and what we do, for example, we don't have C. But when somebody came and asked for C, we said, but we have Montenegro. It's even other state. But we could organize for you that we go to Montenegro very easily. And they accepted. So in that, but it must be from the head. It's not possible only through the part. So somebody should have what is the most important strategy, what you want to achieve. This is it. Sorry,
it's very important, all this information. We speak about Serbia. Serbia is not part of the European Union. They take profit of the European media and very well, but they have their own policy. That's very important.
Just only one thing about European, all this European help. Spirit of this help, it's only to launch things. If you don't have Ministry of Culture who would take this after that and developing, they would stop. They always stop after 2-3 years. It's logical of the things.
The good and bad for Greece is that the priority of culture in the ministry and the product that we sell more is our antiquity. Of course, modern arts are enforced, but I feel that
Okay.
there is a
Sure.
balance between them. Maybe Maria could, about the funding, the budget you can use in order to create a strong audiovisual production.
For me, one really basic thing is the legal entity, and I'm hoping Mr. Kapodistrias he's still there with us, the legal entity of the film offices.
Yeah.
And that means that all, if I could say, deputy governors that you are dealing with tourism mainly, Mr. Kapodistrias, I think, and you have something like
European programs.
I have met two other deputy governors that are dealing with tourism, and they have a gathering. Some of them do not really, they are not really interested in creating film offices. But if film offices are not an entity, a part of the infrastructure of regional administration, then the governor that comes might abolish it, delete it, and the other one. So I think for me this is the first thing.
Okay,
Then you have your own budget, either low or not low, and then the second one
because
must be
the first. Okay.
Must be the you have just to educate in quotes cinematographically the staff, the people who will work for
and
you.
in the European way. Just sorry, Mr. Rogodi, you have to say the whole thing. Yeah. You have to rethink the whole thing, the film offices, and be inspired not only by French experience, but Italian experience. They are really genius to attract European money, and they are also genius to convince the Ministry of Culture and Finance to see that this sector is really important, and they done that, the Italians.
And the central administration, should know that all these regional offices are part of a bigger idea and plan, because
of an ecosystem,
it will be benefit for everyone.
Let's see with Pece Talevski from North Macedonia. We talked about cooperation. Cooperation, it's the key word of the new media program. We had already cooperation, but now it's more important, it seems to be more important. So, with the country, as North Macedonia, non-European country, the special relations Greece have with the country, let's see how Pece Talevski see this discussion and the next step about considering that in a very important way, audiovisual tools to develop economically regions. Is it true over you? What do you say?
Even rich men are crying when I say all what you're talking about for me, because I come from small country and also from private sector, and but we do for maybe for just to try to raise fundraising, but like find the money, we create a streaming platform. We are independent producers that create a streaming platform. We produce program and we are trying to sell our streaming platform directly to the viewers. Okay, 10,000 people, they pay 5,000 euro. It's 50,000 per month. Okay, it's not bad for beginning, but we need to rise. And that's the way how to maybe rise out the visual industry. Otherwise, to think about even state support, or even project of EU, life is too short, to be honest. Yes, that's my perspective and the way how we're doing. And it's going okay now. Its second step, it's maybe let's start to doing common co-production. It's mean okay. We from our country we pay 30%, Serbia firefighter we pay 30%, and maybe if you find other 30% or 40%, maybe to have the budget for the project. It means with 30% we have the whole amount of the pie in our, and we put this project in our streaming platform. That's it. If we have a chance maybe to find more money for media or the creative Europe, it's super, but not, in this position it's not now in the primary focus in our business.
So the Balkan Fund should be a part of the European program, specialized to focus like that,
like example,
outside the media program or inside the media program. It's not any Balkan Fund focused for inter-regional co-production. That's true.
Well, as a Macedonian, I'm not an expert and I have not a profound knowledge, but from what I have read during these last few days, there's a lot of there's a big wider landscape of opportunities, and especially for I mean it includes training, exchange of professionals, and this is a very focused area for a media program. So it is not only about filming in the creation and production. It's also about bringing people together, exchange best practices. This is very important, and share knowledge. There are now currently there are many calls open, and more will come quite soon. I mean, it is a continuous procedure. So media is a very big instrument. So
in evolution all the time.
It is important, nevertheless, to find a good partner. I mean, it is you need an experienced partner in the EU, based in the EU, because otherwise, if you try just to start from the scratch, because you have very good staff in Ionian or in Epirus, or I mean, it is not enough. You need to have some knowledge how to get into this kind of program, and I think that. My knowledge at least, there are many important stakeholders who already have this knowledge in many countries, and in Greece of course, and you can try to establish networks. This is the most important, and from the European and Brussels wise, let's say, point of view. I think that the opportunities are there. So. Just contact directly these people.
That's
in
good.
Brussels,
Direct contact. It's a good.
They will send you very good instructions. They will offer you a good orientation, what to do and when.
So don't want the national institutions, but go directly to the source in Brussels.
The people there, they have the overall picture, so they can say, you have this field of opportunity. Please investigate this.
So salvation comes from abroad, for Greece. Yeah.
I mean, it's there for everyone. It's not only for the very.
To make a good co-production between North Macedonia and Greece, we have to go to Brussels, and now there we can listen to someone who is going to this is a fund. That's good. Copy that. I understood that.
What's the phone number?
What's the phone number? Corraface, what's the phone number?
Well, it's been very interesting, and I've been hearing a lot about the mechanics of all this audiovisual in regions and countries of Europe, and I would just like to look at the vehicle that we are trying to arrange and to make it working and give it speed and direction. Basically, let's not forget that why are there so many audiovisual products? Stories. Why do we need stories? Why so many stories? Because the stories are our gym, our moral gym. We need to see stories from the time that we invented a way to keep the fire in the center, and the people who had stories to tell told the stories, shared the stories, and allow people to project themselves, to think, what would I do in that circumstance? All that is a question of behavior, and behavior is about, the moral sphere of our existence as human beings is about how do we behave and how do we prepare to behave in case of this and that. That's why we need stories. That's why we consume so many stories. That's why our industry is so important, because we are constantly confronted to changing circumstances, and we have to be ready, individually, collectively, as countries or as smaller communities. We have to be ready, and we have to stay on our feet. So I've seen this is, in terms of the collective, it's also about values. It's about sharing a certain set of values, cultivating them, exporting them, giving more strength. I've seen France, for example, from when I was a young actor. I've seen the way that the Ministry of Culture was dealing with cinema. They decided that cinema was really a good vehicle to project a strong image of France and its values, and they decided to spend more money in that area, in that industry, let's call it, than what that industry was paying back. So they were actually wasting money, really a lot of money. But all that wasted money made for a lot more incoming money for fashion industry, cars, even weapons. It gave France a presence in the world that they had lost after the Second World War. They decided to use this immaterial, we were talking about material, immaterial way to bring back really very material benefits, and also immaterial in terms of their own identity, their own feelings of who they are and who they are in the world, what their importance is, and all that. And from the time I started working also with Greece, I was trying to convey that to the Greek people who I was talking to in positions of power. I was trying to tell them to waste some more money on the narrative, on developing the narrative of who this country and the countrymen, who are we, and give some kind of hype, give hope, tell everyone and every collective, you matter. You matter in the world. You're not just lost. You're not just the archaeology. You matter today.
Yeah.
And this is, if we can convey that to the people who are deciding the budgets, and the finance ministry can give enough money to the culture ministry, because that's another thing that I've been witnessing. I've been witnessing so many times the Ministry of Culture that cannot give money that they have already signed, because the finance minister is not opening the purse, and creating enormous problems, losing a lot of money on projects because the projects are stopped or slowed down, and everything, all the costs go up just because the transfer of money, because between the finance minister and the culture, Ministry of Culture doesn't work, doesn't go, doesn't flow. So all this is it's really a question of politics. And to tell you another comparative example that I've witnessed, let's say that the people who are involved in the arts are slightly more liberal than conservative, and the people who are in general at the positions of power are a little more conservative than liberal. There is always a sort of a méfiance, I would say. There was this suspicion between the two ends, and I've seen in the early days, like in the 70s, 80s, I saw that the conservatives of France were really letting the liberals run, and because they knew that they were enhancing the position of France on the stage of the world. In reverse, I saw what Thatcher did at some point, and she destroyed the industry of cinema, because she thought that they were class enemies, and they were, she was thinking along those lines. And then in France, things got a little more Thatcher-like. I mean, it wasn't as good as it used to be, but still there is a very strong tradition now of support for the cinema industry, and all the infrastructure is still remaining no matter what happens on the top. I don't know if I was
clear. Good words of hope.
Very good.
Full of hope. Very good. Reality.
Of your experience.
Yeah. So let's be inspired by the good experience, not the bad experience.
And why British cinema disappeared there.
The real autostrada and the immaterial autostrada for a moment. The best cinema was the British at that time. I mean,
but it's not now.
Yes, yeah.
So, Mrs. Afiropoulos from the Central Macedonia Film Office.
Yes, it's very insightful what we've been discussing over here, and I joined recently the Film Office of Central Macedonia since March, and I got into the point where we were shooting The Bricklayer, one movie, Hollywood movie with Aaron Eckhart and Rennie Harling, director, who directed Die Hard, many popular films we saw back in the 90s. And what I've seen is that we began with that Banderas movie you mentioned, which was a great experiment for us in order to how we react under those stretched and really tight conditions, time-wise and money-wise. But we handled it, and it was a really good success. That's why we took the initiative afterwards to, let's say, okay, we can handle more. So another movie came along, and a bigger percentage of Greek people started to get involved. We've finally started to realize we are lacking of equivalent personnel to because many young people have left Greece to work outside the borders to find something that is more equivalent to their object of interest. So it's a big gap we have created all those years, and suddenly we're called to respond to these big challenge, yes. And out of nowhere, we're figuring out that we can handle it. We can handle it because we're not just finding guys to put them into the job. We can find lovers that they love what they do. So this guy who loves what he does is equivalent to 10 people who don't love what they do. So basically we're trying to build this strong core, because we're right in the beginning of the function of the office. So we're trying to build this industry guide. So we're trying to locate whoever there is here in our ground, in our region, who can help us, and inspire youngers as well. And as you were saying that you're trying to locate screenwriters, so you have scouters in order to do that. So you're going to universities, you're going to schools to see who more capable. That's what we're trying to do right now in all levels, though. And in the movie business, there are so many subjects, so many levels of complexities that just for the music, you don't need just the composer. You don't need just the film score. You need from the sound designer to the the maestro. You need so many people, and just for the music. So for the whole scheme of the movie, it's over 200 or 300 professions, right? No, you must know better involved. So that's what we're trying to see and locate in our region first.
You got the very first beginning of the construction of the database of the human resources.
Yes, and we need this. We need this in order to see where we are capable to and where we're not, and how can we strengthen that. That's part one. Part two is the locations that we need to introduce to prospective producers and filmmakers. And those are the mini steps that we're trying to do, step by step, because there are so many things that you have to get involved in order to respond to all these challenges. But we found ourselves to be lovers on this subject, so we're doing with all our love, and we're doing our best in order to find the frequency so we can communicate both with the youngsters and the professionals. And the hardest thing is that the professionals who haven't been doing any work in the last 10 years because of the pandemic, the financial crisis, we had so many things to remember. And right now the youngsters don't have the space and the time to practice what they love. So that's why they are going abroad. That's why they don't have the opportunity here. We're trying to give equal opportunities both to the old and to the young. So that's our approach, and with the Tin Soldier movie that we did with Robert De Niro, again in Thessaloniki,
Xanthi also, Xanthi,
and Xanthi as well. It was outside our region. I don't know how it went there, but the good thing, the hopeful thing was that a bigger percentage joined the crew. So in every movie that we're trying to host in our region, and we're trying to push more and more youngsters and more people that can be involved in different levels of every production, pre-production, during the production and the post-production. There's so many people, and we're trying to cover up all these levels, but in a really short time. But
are they well educated? Because the thing is, love is okay, money okay, love and money, but if the people
are not very well, they're not capable. If they're not educated, they're not capable.
Okay, so that means the reality that you have Boyana Studio, the Bulgarians, they established in Salonika, and they have the very good staff since 30 years old. They have an experience that Salonika doesn't have, and after that we are amazing. Why the Bulgarians? Because the Bulgarians, they are very well educated, technically perfect. Everybody knows them. So we have a real problem.
No,
we have Salonika's university, but we lack personally. Technical, really top.
Yeah, but you are talking about one production only. We have so numerous production. Millennium is only one production.
Of course.
We have
how many other production companies are you collaborate in this period?
We're discussing with 6 more, and they are
to create, not to discuss. Discuss, it's okay.
Theory with practice.
How many? No. The question is. How many production company create a certain film or series in your region?
Foreign companies.
Foreign, yes.
Foreign.
Create, not to talk about.
Produce.
Three so far. Three so far have produced.
Oh, okay. Millennium and
Millennium, I don't know the name of, because there are so many. There are multiple producers.
In 1 year and a half, 2 year maximum and a half of
it's very
launching the film office.
The film office, yes, 2 and a half. Yes, very interesting.
And we have Greek
Thank you.
production, we have short film productions
Yes.
from the universities.
Of course, of course.
We're trying to
It's-
develop a VFX
it's another-
sector. We're trying to develop music sector. We're trying to develop as well. That's the next step we're trying to do. Workstations. I mean, master classes for youngsters to have the
I've seen that,
opportunities to have somebody inspired
But
by.
there's the Hellenic Film Festival that is
For
very
sure.
Of course,
active.
that's a big
It's a
one
very
as well.
strong institution.
Is that with the money of the
And there's
region,
a whole
our question,
film
Yes,
department. in
yes.
or
Thessaloniki.
European money, or I don't know what European thing?
Yeah.
Is it really on the budget
first
of the region and not
No,
the
no,
budget of no region?
No, it's the budget of the region so
Ha-
far.
could you give us a class of the budget, the
No,
region?
An idea.
I'm sorry, I have no idea
You
about that.
don't have.
But next year probably we will have an idea.
Mr. Ogoti, do you have an idea concrete of the contribution of the region on the functioning of your office? Exactly. Not European. Own money of the region.
All money, just our participation in events, in audiovisual event around Europe and Greece. That's our, and my budget, I am
Your salary.
Salary.
my salary, yes, my salary working in the region for that region at the moment.
But not only for the film office, for other. Things
Yes,
also.
for other
Okay.
things, but especially for the film office.
So you are not
Yes.
dedicated to film office.
And
there is film
of
office, but-
course,
okay.
there are some few other amount that the region spends in the co-production of some small films, short
Okay.
or
So
some
the
documentaries,
great
etc.
question is, excuse me, for love and money. I mean, okay, love is good, lovers
is
are very
good,
good.
yes,
Greece is full of lovers, but the thing is, for the moment, all the lovers want, okay, so money, we have to
need to
drink, we
feed
have
that
to
love.
so.
Training.
I'm sorry, taking
Yeah.
into consideration that we have a basic structure that can we have that
course.
and it is needed of course
That's the
money.
question,
Okay,
to
can-
get the next step for
Of
us.
course.
To run it
make-
better, to develop it, not just to wait. Okay, that's
Because I very much need to be optimistic in life. Okay, we have the base. Okay, until 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago,
yeah.
we didn't have anything. Nobody
That's
knew
true.
what audiovisual work
That's
was. Nobody knew about the Greek Film Center or the job that people do in Athens around cinema and television and all that. Okay, in the regions, I mean.
In the regions, yes, in
Yes.
the institutional
Yes, and
personnel of the
okay,
regions.
now there are multiple things happening as we speak.
Yeah.
Okay, we have set up the film offices. Hopefully, the rest of the regions will follow, because I can see that they are a bit. They are moving a bit slowly.
Slowly.
Okay, the municipalities know what audiovisual.
Just one or two
productions
cities,
are.
Athens, by the
Okay, and
development
I'm not
agency.
talking about only about the region of Ionian Islands, because we've always had a quite big interest for productions. Like Jota said before, we had the Darrells that shot in Corfu for 4 years, and the Darrells was a huge success. And Corfu won the reward of the first.
Yes, it was the first prize.
Prize. Well,
Location award.
yes,
Location.
as the best location for for 2018.
Yeah.
And so we kind of took things forward with setting up of our film office, and a huge part of my job, as I say it now, is educating the public. Okay, because we need this. Corfu has always been a cinema-friendly community because of different productions that took place, but we need to take things even more to advanced things, as long as we are in things. Okay, so because we don't know what happens tomorrow.
We don't know the next day. That's
Yes.
correct.
And so we are planning to sign an agreement of understanding with 4 municipalities
of the
Corfu, we have already signed some in other islands.
So real cooperation between the
In
municipality and the region.
The municipality.
That's good.
Because we
Yes.
have
That's
formed
new.
all this.
Yes.
And it's a good example for the other regions and Cyprus.
But
not
still,
Greece.
there are dozens of ideas that can be implemented. Like a residency program would be very useful
course.
for you as well.
Yeah.
As far as the film offices are concerned, I think the first thing we need to do is to introduce ourselves. I don't think people know what we're doing.
This is what I've been.
We have to introduce,
Yes,
we have
this
to
is very
build that
important.
core, that strong core.
Explain what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody is calling and they say, okay, I need that, I want to audition for that. I'm sorry, I'm not responsible for this. I want to give a script for that. I'm sorry, I'm not responsible for this. So we need to
Externalize.
You need to do a lot of networking with the reporters and newspapers and magazines and radio
Exactly,
stations.
and to
You go wherever you need to go to inform people, not inform
Extrovert.
people that
extroverts, extroverts it.
that you exist. You need to highlight the growth
Yes.
role of our offices.
The growing role.
No, the role in growth.
The
in
impact in
economic
growth.
growth.
Okay.
The impact in growth.
Okay.
The
Oh, the
impact,
impact in
yes.
growth, okay.
So just.
And also in
Can I have the floor, please?
Κύριε
I should be
Καθοδίστρια,
there.
φυσικά είναι εκεί.
so that,
Ακούτε με μεγάλο.
not just the economic,
So-
but also the
cultural as well, the social.
to inspire the people locally and
Yeah.
world, in the world.
Exactly.
We're here to inspire. This is
Yes.
now inspire. You were saying that people who love can. One person who loves what they do is worth 10 people that don't love what they do. But a person who's inspired, by his or her life, can also do what
Absolutely.
what 10 people who are not inspired can do. So we have to inspire. We have to inspire, especially today when there's so many non-inspiring things happening.
I absolutely agree.
Κύριε Καποδίστρια,
That's
τελευταία
what I
λέξη. Last word.
First of all, can you see me? Because
Yes,
Of course.
Yes.
No problem.
We can see.
We can see
I
you.
can't see you, I can't see your expressions and how you move. Well, I want to say this. I heard it before. It was being told. I don't know who the lady said it, and it's the main thing I will keep from this conversation. It's that we have done one step, but if the film offices don't have a legal, can be a legal entity, we don't have future. Because that's the main thing. If we have legal entities for the film office, we will find budgets from the regions or from elsewhere to support them. That's the main thing we should do next days, months. Pressing the government, pressing the civilization,
Okay.
that things. I believe that from all this conversation, I have any good things, but the main thing is in my mind now, and I hope I will talk about it with Angela, that we will press to make the film offices legal entities. From there we start.
Yeah, that's a thing
Yeah.
of bureaucracy. That's
And
bureaucracy.
you
But
law
it
in the
may-
parliament and
it may
law in
take
the
some
parliament.
time. No, not
No?
Not only parliament.
no.
In every region has
No,
to
no.
be
It's not a parliamentary
something completely
thing.
different.
Okay.
The legal entity.
If you can do fix
It's
it
an
inside the
internal
region,
business.
τόσο το καλύτερο. Okay.
Because this is
So,
referring to.
And if you can excuse me, I'm leaving now.
we are also finishing, so very glad to have you
Waiting for new fights.
with us. Very nice, very nice. So good morning to
New battles.
Zakithos. Good morning to Zakithos and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
So, grand merci, ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ για αυτή την νομίζω ενδιαφέρουσα συζήτηση. Ένα πρώτο βήμα ήμασταν κι εμείς. Δεν είμαστε film offices ούτε περιφέρεια. But we think that that was the very first idea to organize that, just to assemble people about this sector, the film offices in the first line.
Can
Unfortunately, Yes, unfortunately, not the heads of the regions, because the head of the regions, they have to engage. And when they have engagements, we remind them, you told that.
Yes, yes, I
you
will.
told that. So, engagement, that means laws. Tomorrow, the laws, it's okay, it's passing. So, that's the film offices, they cannot replace the politicians who are in charge of that, but they can push. And we can push also with the film offices by our very ταπεινή παρουσία that something is going on and they have to see all the aspects, just not one or the other one, but all the aspects. European, no European, and national. National thanks to take the responsibility.
Look a little bit, look up.
Higher.
Because there is also a problem to be resolved in order to help us be more effective.
And because, can I just add
Yes.
something
The last
else?
word.
Maria, just a few words about what are your plans in terms of
effective.
2 λεπτά να την ακούσουμε. Okay, let's.
If you have any plans, Maria, as a new head of the Hellenic Film Commission, which is the Hellenic Film Commission is actually like the big film office
Has
for
to
the
be.
whole of Greece.
Has to be the
is.
institution.
And if you have any plans on supporting us in, in terms of educating us a bit more, or helping us along the way with practical matters, or if you have any specific plans. If you don't, and you're just in the making of plans, it's okay.
First of all, I'm not used to be posed questions because I used to pose questions. So
times are changing. Times are changing. So okay.
I'm just gaining time.
Okay.
I just cannot make any announcements.
Okay.
I was appointed in August. That means everyone was on the beach at that time, and since then I'm really exploring very hardly. I'm a hard worker. I mean, I say this with really, you know me from my work. And there are things we have in mind. Training is among them. And I want to be really close to you, and I'd like your,
thank you very much.
Your, let's say, people in power and governors be next to us all, and to me personally, because we have plans for the film offices.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's very nice to hear.
Να χειροκροτήσουμε αυτή την ωραία
Very
προεδρία. Οι έχοντες ότα ακούει, ναι. Αυτοί που έχουν αυτό και μας είδανε να τα ακούσουν και να πάρουν.
Costa, thank you very much for everything.
Εμείς σας ευχαριστούμε.
You're a very good moderator.
Και γεφυροποιητές είμαστε. Γεφυροποιητές. Όχι ποιητές, γεφυροποιητές. Εντάξει, γεφυροποιητές. Γι' αυτό είναι η Βόρεια Μακεδονία, γι' αυτό η Σερβία, πέρυσι από εδώ και από εκεί, Γιώργος Κοραφάς και Γαλλία και Ελλάδα και εγώ το ίδιο. Μ' αρέσει αυτή η διπλή ταυτότητα, ιδιότητα και ευρωπαϊστής και Βαλκάνιος βαθιά. A really Balkan. And I'm directing the Serious Balkan Association, that means 12 countries really Balkan, with common identity. Balkan. Different, 12, but one Balkan touch. Puzzle. We love it, we believe in that. Part of Europe will not, it's not the problem. The problem is inside Europe you have Balkans, and Balkans, 12 countries. Very strong, very good stories, very nice stories, and having a long story with France, Greece, everywhere. So it's the opportunity or never to do something really good as a story creator.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know. Are we still streaming or no?
No, not streaming.
Anyway,
we just recording.
It's just you.
That's also something. There's a lot of co-productions that are made using European funds, not European funds. All ways to get the money enough to shoot a story. But we are also trying to create a European identity. we're trying to create a fiscal Europe, we're trying to create a geostrategic Europe. All this is very difficult, but at the core of that is the identity, the European identity. And we are so many different cultures, different languages, and in every country there are different stars, and the publics, in every country they identify with their stars. So that is also something that should be included into the writing of stories today, which is to have stories that travel through the countries and use really stars of different countries that are part of the co-production, not just the post-production or the cinematographer. We have to see those actors, and we have to get used to Serbian stars and love them. You know, when we are from Italy or from France. That's the way we're going to identify, and that's the way we're going to feel that we are one community. It's also through the characters, and the characters have to be written in. Where is the screenwriter here? It's gone. But it has to be written in.
Preparing the brief for this evening.
You know, there was in the States attempts to have not quotas, but to include more of the minorities and all that. The way they did that, integrated into the stories, the minority actors, we can do very easily in the scripts. We can very easily find ways for why this role is going to be played by a Serbian actor, or a Montenegro actress, or and that's really something that could be a little bit willed in. You know, we must not exaggerate that because it becomes unnatural. But whenever we can, we should do it. Should do it from the script level.
Very good idea.
Yes,
very
it is very important, your proposal. And I could add even the location.
It's
the same, but this is more inspired, you said, because
absolutely.
Because people that would see could be in touch with this creation more effectively.
The Danish have done that. The Nordic people with their Vikings common bond, they've done that in a magnificent way, and efficient and economic in development. Everybody says, watches now the Danish Finland or Swedish series and drama and theatres and dogma, who knows what others. So Balkan could be really in a creative way this new next step. So, ευχαριστούμε και πάλι.
Thank you.
Merci.